In this lesson, we will look at questions that come from Unit 3, Sections 4.1 to 4.2, Rational and Irrational Numbers. Question 1. What is the index of the radical? Keeping in mind of the parts of the radical that we studied in our lesson. So we have the cube root of 2 to the exponent of 4. So this can be written in another form. We could also say it's 3, so the cube root of 2, all to the exponent of 4. So the whole thing is called a radical. What is underneath the radical symbol is called the radicand. And the number that is inside or outside the radical symbol is called the index. So the index in this case would be 3. So our answer here would be B, 3. Next, question 2, sort the numbers below in rational and irrational. So let's have a refresher now on what rational and irrational means and what numbers are actually defined into both of those categories. Rational numbers is any number that can be written as a fraction. It can be a decimal that terminates or repeats, or it can be a perfect square radical or a perfect cube radical. So for an example, square root of 16 or the cube root of 8. Irrational is every other number that doesn't fit into the rational characteristics. It's any number that cannot be written as a fraction. It's a decimal that does not terminate or repeat. And it's a radical that doesn't have a perfect square number or a perfect cube number. So let's get started here and look at what we have. So we'll have rational first. Then we have our irrational. So let's break that down into two categories here, and then we'll look at each number separately. So the numbers that we have are 1/2, 4, -6, square root of 9, the square root of 17, pi, and -2/3. So first off, we have two fractions already, so those can be placed under the rational section without any question at all. It's already written as a fraction, so we don't need to have any further discussion on those. 4 and -6 are both integers that can be written as a fraction. Both can be divided by 1, so we can have 4 divided by 1, which could be a fraction, so that would be fine. And -6 could be written in the same manner. So those are gone. Let's leave these until after. Pi, we know, is a non-terminating number, so that would be irrational, and that is probably the most famous irrational number is pi. Next, we have the square root of 9. So if we look at the square root of 9, what would be our answer there? Square root of 9 is 3, since 9 is one of our perfect squares. 1, 4, 9, 16, and so on. So 9 is a perfect square. So that would make it a rational number. It is a radical with a perfect square. So that one is gone. And our last one is the square root of 17. Well, if we had to look at our perfect square numbers again, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. 17 is not there. If we had to approximate the square root of 17, we would get 4.1231056. This is a non-terminating decimal. It is not a perfect square, so therefore it is an irrational number. So that one there will be gone. So keep it in mind again, rational and irrational are quite different and have their own unique characteristics.